Hey guys, Robert here, and when I take off the glasses, I have something to rant about. But my God Almighty, what have we become lately? Seriously. Now, I might be specific to a few names. I perfectly acknowledge that. I'm one or two, but for the most part, I'm going to be in general. So, Reese, if you're watching this, or anyone who knows Reese thinks I'm talking about him, no. He might be saying stuff that has been similar to what I'm going to be ranting about, but no, I am not directing this at him. Only if I specify who I'm talking about is who I'm talking about. Okay? I just want to get out of the way. I don't want any misunderstandings or anything like that. This culture war. This motherfucking culture war we've been having lately has reached to peak idiocy. You get that? Peak idiocy here. Because you saw if any of you see my Godzilla minus one video by now, I love the movie. I adored it. Yes, it was a bit political, okay? After recording that video, I've since thought about it. Yeah, it's a little political, but it's more of a subtle underlaying political, not an in-your-face politics. I just want to get that out of the way. When you have someone like motherfucking Nerdrotic putting out a tweet that's meant to instigate. Why? Because they want to utilize the Godzilla minus one to say it owns the left because it's hitting stuff that the other companies didn't do. When it's just like, let the movie be. I am getting so tired of them bringing in good movies that's so they can say and own the other side with saying, now granted, yes, you should say, why can't we get more movies like this? But I will not argue. But and this is a case where they never had any prep up to wanting to trash it. I get that. But then when you look at other things like Super Mario Brothers, where they were trashing it long before, from the first trailer, when they were like, oh, Mario's gonna be a simp to Peach, Peach is gonna be the real hero, she's gonna save the day, all that bullshit. And it turns out when the movie came out, it becomes one of the biggest hits of the year, and then they're like, oh, well, see, Mario is owning it, when it's like, bitch, please, you guys were completely trashing it beforehand until it finally came out, and now and if anyone called you out on it, you just do anything you can to slam them, to bitch and complain at them, and ignore the fact that you guys were being a bunch of freaking hypocrites. Same with Prey. Prey was even more blatant. Those guys were just simply building up hatred, saying it's woke, because it's a woman. Just because it's a woman. Now, I will admit, there was one issue with Prey I will give. At the very end, compared to all of the other male leads, she came out mostly unscathed by the end of the fight. All the other men have been practically gripping the life. That's how trash they were. But her, she's fine. That's the only complaint I would give about that. That feels a little biased because she's a woman. Oh, we can't see her banged up. That's the only issue. Everything else, she struggled. She worked her hardest to get to where she's at. I just wanted to get that out of the way. But again, these guys don't care. These guys don't care. Nope, not at all. These guys do not care whatsoever about entertainment anymore. They don't. They have surrendered being entertained to wanting to be outraged. Outrage is their entertainment. And anyone else who wants joy or entertainment, how dare you have it? You cannot, if you enjoy something that they deem offensive, they deem in the wrong, you cannot enjoy it. Now, yes, there's people on the left, but it's the right who are claiming they are the long-standing fans, and that you are not a true fan if you are enjoying something. You cannot be a good fan. You cannot be a fan of Scott Pilgrim. You cannot be a fan of He-Man, Masters of the Universe, if you liked the Takes Off or Revelation. You cannot be a fan whatsoever. That is the most annoying fucking thing about these people lately. They avoid context, and they avoid and they do anything they can to take and to make sure you just don't have any fun. You cannot have any fun whatsoever. And I am fucking sick and tired of it. It's like Scott Pilgrim. Okay, yes. I get it. I fucking get it. You felt like the rug was pulled out for you. The marketing made it seem like they were going to do a one-to-one adaptation. Probably a more faithful adaptation. Even though a lot of the interviews made it clear that, like, oh no, this is going to be its own thing. But who cares? Who fucking worries those interviews? That's what you're thinking, right? But at the same time, how else are you going to have someone be? How do you expect to be surprised? Do you need everything spoiled for you right off the bat before the first episode happened? Do you not want to be surprised anymore because you want you want to avoid any outrage? Is that what you're saying? Okay, yes. Have they overdone it? Yes. I'm completely honest. This whole subverting expectations thing has been overdone. But I felt here it worked because you're going in expecting one thing. You get something else, and then the rest of the story was perfectly fine. The rest of the story was perfectly fine, guys. I enjoyed Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. I thought it was very serviceable. I thought it was a very good story that, in the end, took things in a different direction, but had a good justification for it. Now, the other time, but they also made it clear, this is a possible future. This is not the definitive future. They make that very clear right off the bat, that this is just one of many futures. It's just the one that happened to choose to come in and fuck up with the past. That's all. Doesn't mean that they never said there aren't any futures out there where Scott and Ramona stayed happily ever after and that future Scott never became an asshole. They never said that. But you guys just want to believe that, don't you? You guys just want to motherfucking believe that because that's all you want. You just want the outrage again. You just want the outrage. And again, back to He-Man. The fact is we're having a follow-up. And this is not a second season. You would not have this big of a gap between releases if this was just part of the initial order. No. So clearly, He-Man, The Revelation, did well enough for them to greenlight a sequel. They didn't have to, but they did. And that proved people actually watched and enjoyed this. That they put in another order for a brand new motherfucking season. So, and you, despite what all you guys tried to do, saying no one's watching, everyone's hating it. We represent the true fans, and we hate it, so that means every fan hates it. Only real fans must hate it. Clearly not. Clearly it did well enough. You guys can't handle that, can you? You guys cannot handle that at all. You guys really just need to be right all the time. And you need to be so goddamn convinced because of your fucking echo chamber that you represent all fans. Because you're like, oh, I'm a fan. It's like, I cannot believe many of you were actually fans. Or if you were selective fans. Probably used to be fans and you're like, oh, I know about this and haven't kept up to date. Or things like that. That's the ones I've noticed. You guys, many of you guys were probably fair weather fans who left and then came back. You have knowledge of it. So enough to have some bit of a bond, and now you're just outrage for the sake of outrage. And then you have the Mystique Nightcrawler thing. Now, do not think of me as what I'm about to say is me saying it's a good story. I still think it's relatively stupid, but in general, retconning in what Claremont wanted, there's nothing wrong with that. And now that, if you actually have sat down and read the story, you realize that the Azazel portion is still canon to a degree. Azazel's genetics are still utilized in there somehow, some weird scientific mutant, whatever mumbo jumbo way. It's still utilized. It's just now Destiny was the one who carried Nightcrawler, and that's all. But still, the fact is they didn't pull this out of their asshole cloth. And the fact that what's really pissing me off is that I am starting to see people defending the Azazel, saying, it wasn't that bad a story. Bitch, motherfucking please. It was one of the worst, still, for the longest time, up until this retcon, considered one of the worst X-Men stories that ever existed. But now, because of this, you guys are just so quick to flip around and say, oh, it wasn't that bad. Oh, it's a good story. Oh, everyone liked Azazel. No, they fucking didn't. That's like saying something that's even worse than one. Sorry about that. Seriously, though. But again, the fact of the matter is that why are people so quick to do a turnaround? Why? Okay, all right. I almost lost the point I was saying. This is like saying something worse happens to Spider-Man, and then you guys start saying, "Oh, One More Day wasn't that bad. I think One More Day was a good story." If you pulled something like that, that's what's happening with the Azale stuff. Because Azale was the X-Men's One More Day as far as how much hatred the story got. That is exactly what's happening. It's like if saying revealing that something else happened, like I don't know, Peter's parents were actually trans or something, and you got or something like that, or some BS like that, and then that makes it but ties back to One More Day or something, and then you guys could then say, "Oh, One More Day is not that bad." That's exactly what you guys are doing. That's exactly what you guys are doing. You were just flipping around saying something is not that bad or something was actually a good story just because you wanted to push back against it. That does not tell me you were fans then. Because if you were fans and you have for the longest time stood by to believe that story was one of the worst stories, but now you're turning around, you weren't fans at all. You were not fans. Because real fans would not be that flippant about being able to flip around on a dime about shit like that. Jesus Christ almighty. It's like you can't even enjoy anything. Like I've said before, you cannot enjoy jack diddly shit. Not these days. Oh, one other thing with the Mystique thing. The way people are making fun of how Destiny gives birth, she's on her knees and everything. From what I understand, that is a proper method of delivering. It's just you guys are so used to her laying on her back, but you were saying, "Oh, it looks like a football player." Hut. Really? Really? You really think that's not a feasible way of having kids being delivered? Okay, just wanted to get that out of the way. I just wanted to get that out of the way. But Doctor Who. This is where the biggest one is, with Nerd Erotic and his brain dead followers who keep on wanting to push a hashtag to make it seem like, see, everyone hates it when it's guys. No, you fucking assholes. You just know how to manipulate the algorithm. That's all it is. You just know how to manipulate the algorithm to get what you want. That's all it is. That's all it fucking is that you know how to play the algorithm. And because of that, you make it seem like everyone is hated. I've seen so many videos saying, "Oh, the Star Beast bombed. It was horrible ratings." What? Okay, you know what? While I'm here, I'm going to look it up right now. What were the ratings for Doctor Who Starkeys? Because you also have to remember this. There's also people who are waiting to see it on Disney Plus as well. Yeah, it says right here, Star Beast lands one of the biggest ratings on the big for a launch. So yeah, you guys want to try that again? Heck, it's up to that's up. In fact, it says here that's up 25.7% from Power of the Doctor. Think about that a second. Now that though, it is the it's up 14.7 to percent from Flux to Halloween Apocalypse, so around the same time. So this is bigger than it's been during a lot of the Chibnall and the later portion of the Chibnall era. So to say it's one of the lowest, how is it one of the lowest when it's above what has been the low points for the series? Huh? How? Please tell me how. Because if you got so many of you people out there have just been bitching and moaning in general. You've been this way ever since Jodie came about. Now, yes, Jodie was a good actress. I'm going to keep on standing by that. But she had a lot of bad writing. But you got to remember this. Chibnall didn't really even want the gig. He was kind of forced into it because basically Moffat had told him, if you don't do it, no one's going to take it, and they're just going to drop it. So the guy did what he could. It was crap. And clearly a lot of the writing that he could do for Broadchurch was not able to be translated to Doctor Who. That much is certain. But at the same time, that yes, it was still pretty crappy stuff from the writing, not because it was a woman. It's like I'm seeing people complaining about the upcoming on Suti, or however you say his name, Cutie, whatever, the upcoming Doctor. People are now bitching just because he's black. We haven't seen much with the guy at all, but people are already bitching. He's black. It's going to be a problem. Now, I will say this. Going back to it with Star Beast, there were two cringe moments, all right? Two very cringe moments. Asking, did you just ask the pronouns and everything? And then, oh, this is something that a male doctor wouldn't have. But I think even people who are LGBTQ supporters, who are even trans themselves, even they all agreed, yeah, that was a pandering line. I've seen so many people who have been very much, left-leaning, saying that was cringe. I have rarely seen anyone defend that particular line. And yet, because of those two bits, the whole thing sucks. It's all suck. It's all pandering. It's all anti-male. It's all this. It's like, no, it's not. If you actually watched it, if you were an actual fan of the show, you would see this is typical Doctor Who at its finest, especially with the Doctor and Donna. The way Tennant was acting was ever. So like Tennant was reduced. He was not reducing. You gotta remember this. This isn't the 10th Doctor. This is the 14th Doctor wearing the face of the 10th Doctor. And Tennant's doing all he can to make it clear this is a different Doctor. It's the same man, but with an old face. But he's been through a lot. That's what he's playing it up at. So if you were expecting him to be exactly like the 10th, that was never going to happen. And again, I question if you guys were fans. Because here's something else you got to remember this. Yes, and Davis always put in his politics. But unlike Chibnall, Davis still wrote good dialogue, good characters around it that actually felt good and believable and smart with the writing. It was, whereas Chibnall, fell flat. It fell flat so many times. I've noticed that's been one of the most people looking back now are realizing that's the common issue with it. The characters sounded the same, or they just sounded so damn flat. But I should also point out, in the most recent episode, Wild Blue Yonder, they've acknowledged Flux and the Timeless Child, making it very clear they're not retconning. I'm already seeing people getting pissed off about that. But here's one thing I will say this. At least Flux is getting acknowledged and getting the angst from the Doctor that Chibnall glossed over. Half the life in the universe has been wiped out, and Jodie's Doctor was just like, well, now, granted, that's probably because they didn't have much time for the writing or anything with the episode to acknowledge it. But here Davis has, and it is eating away at the Doctor still. It still bothers him that his actions led to half the universe getting wiped out by the Flux. And yes, he's also acknowledging stuff with the Timeless Child. But again, it's actually showing stuff that Chibnall they introduce it and then brush it aside. Here it's showing the Doctor's haunted by it. It's still haunted by it. And maybe, who knows, maybe Davis will clarify things about the Timeless Child that Chibnall just introduced and just left there. But I tell you, Davis is at least playing with the toys and maybe going to make it something that might be more acceptable. Which is what a good showrunner should do. They shouldn't just drop everything. No, they should look at it like a challenge to be able to be utilized. And I can't wait to see what he's doing with it. But again, you have so many people saying, R.I.P. the Doctor. R.I.P. the Doctor, because they need to be outraged. Again, back to that. You cannot have fun. People are saying, I've seen so many people saying, no, this sucks. And if you like it, you are a pandering corporate shill who's enjoying it. Really? You guys think that those who like it are pandering corporate shills? Well, what the fuck are you guys then? What the fuck are you guys then? If you are, when you're buying stuff like Rippaverse books, and then when people ask, what do you like about it? Oh, you can't ask me what I like about it. Or some of them are even flat acknowledging, I haven't read it, but it's still good. It's like, how are you any different? How are you people any different from those who buy Marvel comics and you claim are shills? Because hey, I'll tell you this. At least those who are buying from the big two still will tell you what they like about it, because they are actually reading it and getting some enjoyment out of it. Just because you guys won't get any enjoyment out of it does not motherfucking mean that there isn't anything to be enjoyed from it. But you guys will just keep on buying stuff that is utter garbage, utter crap. It's constantly being proven how crap and haphazardly thrown together it is. and be able to, and still say, oh, but it's this, when you guys are just buying it just to own whoever, own the libs, own the left, own the big two, own whoever. That's all you guys care about. You don't care about the product. And heck, I can see why EVS is getting a little perturbed about that. He wants people to actually enjoy the book, but he's starting to realize there are a lot of people who are buying it just to own things on the side. At least I can say though what I liked about it, because he's putting in an effort to it into the project still. He might still be catering to the outrage, yes, but at the same time though, he still wants to put his all into the book. He's taking too damn long for a lot of it, but that's always been a problem of Easton's, let's be honest. But when it comes to the Rippaverse stuff, no, it's just YouTube merch. That's all it fucking is. It's YouTube merch because Ripper knows most people are just gonna buy it just to buy it and don't care about reading it. And that's when people are actually criticizing it and everything. He's just laying himself wide open. Again, he's being no different than a lot of those writers and artists at DC and Marvel who lash out at the simplest of criticism. But at least here, though, when people are actually able to call him out and give proof, like about, Cliff Richards utilizing reused assets and tracing over and all that stuff, something that would usually even make some of the big two artists shut up if someone calls them out on that. Here, when it's being called out, they are just simply denying it, or acting, or coming up with some mental gymnastics to get over it. It is just ridiculous. But again, these people feel like they're in the right. They're the real fans. They are the real, no, you guys have not been fucking fans in a long ass time, if you ask me. Most of those out there who follow Nerdrotic and all that stuff, who just parrot everything they say. Nerdrotic, Yellow Flash, so many of the others who just parrot what they say. Take what they say as motherfucking fact and cannot think for themselves and everything. I question your being fans. So there might be some out there who are. I acknowledge that. But at the same time, I question so much because of how you act and how a fan would act. Yes, there's always been fan outrage. At the same time, it's like with the sequel trilogies. Now people are acting like, what? We were never this toxic beforehand. Yes, you were. There's a reason why George sold it off. Because he was so fed up with the toxicity that came about from the prequel trilogy. So don't act like this is anything new for Star Wars. It's just gotten worse. That's all I would say about that. But I'm just rambling, but I just need to vent. So look, seriously guys, I'm just sick of this. I just want to sit back and enjoy stuff. Don't need anyone butting in. I don't need anyone trying to latch on to something that I'm enjoying just because they want to use it as ammunition. So that's all I wanted to say. A whole bunch of yelling. But hey, you guys want an angry Rob, so you got it. That's all I gotta say, though. Thank you for indulging me on this. Take care. You know what? I completely forgot about one other example. I just want to add this on. Tekken is not at the very end, but Furiosa. People are getting pissed off about Furiosa. And yet, were people there? People there when Fury Road came out? Because I seem to recall, yes, there were some people who were ticked off about Max seeming to be secondary to Furiosa. But I recall so many people loving it. That movie did great. That movie was phenomenal. People really enjoyed that movie. People really wanted to see more with Furiosa. People wanted to see more and to have more with her. Now, they probably want more with Shirley Theron, yes, but still. And George Miller has shown time and again what a great director he is, who will make some big spectacle out of it. And yet, they announced Furiosa, the prequel to Fury Road, with Anna Taylor-Joy in it as Furiosa. And people are losing their minds again. People are freaking losing their minds again. And it's like, what? Seriously, you guys have no faith in him whatsoever. Is that what you're telling me? Because I feel that is what you're saying. You were saying you have no faith in George whatsoever. Or worse yet, you don't even really see them involved. You just think it is some Hollywood thing that they're tacking on now of all time. Guys, please, seriously, look at George. George takes a long time to get a lot of these productions off the ground. Look how long it takes to get Fury Road off the ground. So it takes them quite a while to get some of these projects off the ground. But again, you guys just want to be outraged. You guys just want to be pissed off because that's all you do. That's all you do is want to be mad and ticked off. Sorry, that's all I wanted to add on. I wanted to add on the Furiosa bit because that was another example that just shows that these people don't care. They weren't fans. They don't remember how things were because, like I said, people, I remember. Did I see Fury Road? No, but I do remember people enjoyed it. It was a big hit. It was a huge hit, and people really liked Furiosa from Fury Road. And yet, and there were people wanting more. So we're getting more, but now it's a problem because it's a woman. And I just want to add that on. You guys realize so much. You guys just jump at a character being in that's black or female, or someone that was enjoyed as a female now getting a spotlight, and you're just ticked off at that. When things are just shown and you guys are ticked off, like again, like upcoming the 15th Doctor. We haven't seen anything with it, but you guys are already assuming it's going to suck because he's black. And I've seen so many people saying, I don't want it because I don't believe in a person being black or whatever. It's just like you guys don't realize how dumb you're making yourselves look. And if you think you really represent the fans, then you truly, truly don't get it. Because you really want the fandom to be bigoted assholes? I wouldn't. Again, do I want them to be pushovers? No, I don't. But at the same time, I don't want them to be assholes either, just for the sake of being assholes because of the viewpoints of some loudmouths. That's all I wanted to say. Take care again.